Okay. Good morning. Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning, my lovelies. Hello, everyone. And welcome to Bhakti Bites. I'm going to open up the chat in Discord. Okay. All right, the chat is open in Discord. If you're a member on the Discord, you can go over there for the chat. Gifts have been turned off on TikTok. We are not giving TikTok any of our revenue any longer. If you are currently a subscriber on TikTok, please move your subscription from TikTok over to Patreon. There's an option on Patreon. There's also an option for there's a $5.55 a month supporter level over on the Discord. That's the bit.ly CAYA tribe link. And then there is also another level, an $11 level, subscriber level, that gets you the weekly, peekly, and astrology stuff that this subscription used to get you on TikTok. But again, we are no longer giving our monies to the tiki-taki because we vote with our dollar and our attention, right? The most powerful, some of the most influential things we have are our dollar and our attention. Our intention and our attention. Does money represent our intentions? Sometimes. Sometimes. So, for those of you who are new here and wondering who the hell I am, my name is Reverend Deborah. I am a movement facilitator, movement in breath, body, and being, and this one stray hair is going to bother me for most of the session. There we go. My Patreon is Patreon at Move with Change. I am Move with Change on pretty much all the platforms. There is no other Move with Change out there except for my backup account. That's Move with Change 2. If you see anybody else with another number or any other thing like that, it's not me. Move with Change on Patreon, Instagram, Facebook, although you won't interact with me there, even Twitter, Kick, Twitch, YouTube, Pinterest. I'm on all the places, but really the place to interact, the place to exchange ideas and share resources and dive deep and learn more about these things that I'm teaching through these free classes, that's on the Discord. To join the Discord, you can go to the bit.ly link, bit.ly CAYA tribe, CAYA, CAYA tribe. CAYA stands for Come As You Are, because authenticity is really the goal here. Authenticity is what we are trying to shake out, right? We're trying to figure out how to find that authenticity and how to stand in that authenticity in each moment. And the CAYA community space on that Discord is a space where we encourage you to show up just as you are. Hi, Mr. Marshmallow. Were you late night texting? It's such a dangerous thing, is it not? This device at our fingertips that gives us dopamine hits and serotonin by accomplishing things. That reaction, that response in your body when your finger presses that button and something happens, it releases a tiny little boop dopamine hit. And you're like, ooh, that was exciting. And so you sit there and you type out all of the things that you're not intending to say because you're also getting that dopamine hit while you're typing it, even though it's something that you're not really feeling good about typing and you're probably not supposed to send, but you then send it anyway because there's another dopamine hit. I highly, 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 highly encourage you, if you have not picked up a pencil or pen and paper in a long time, please make a new habit of it. The long term, the lasting effects, the positive effects, that dopamine, the serotonin kind of stuff that you receive from this boop text thing, you also get from writing, but it is more soft. It has a longevity to it. It brings you a peace of mind, a centeredness, rather than a scattered more kind of energy. We live in a world that encourages us to use tools that actually bring us out of balance, not into balance. Oftentimes they falsify balance or falsify our satisfaction of our needs, i.e., fake food, fake friends, fake image, ego stuff. So, as I said in the video, nobody probably saw, because they're hiding my shit, because it's that fucking good, because it's that fucking important. We have a new mudra this week. New mudras. The mudras, yes, the mudras, the mindfulness tools that are being hidden from you because they're so effective that these powers that be guys say, shh, don't tell them about the body's self-healing properties. Don't tell them how to balance the chakras and quiet their mind and find their inner locus of control so that we can no longer manipulate them. No! Don't give them those tools. I am tired of saying for educational purposes only, because it's not. This is real world, real time, effective tools that have a real, measurable, positive effect on the body, on the mind, on the spirit, without all the bullshit negative effects, side effects of the other stuff that's being taken. So anyway, would you like to learn a new mudra? Hello, everyone. These are our Bhakti Bites classes. Bhakti means devotion. So devotion to what? Devotion to self-care, because self-care is often the last thing on our to-do list and the first thing that we put down when we get busy. The first thing that we shirk, when in reality, it needs to be the foundation of every single day. In fact, the foundation of every single moment can be self-care. When we learn to integrate self-care practices, when we learn to integrate mindfulness practices into our everyday life, into every moment of every day, so that they are always available to us, accessible to us, so that we can really use them when we actually need them, that is what self-care looks like. Self-care does not need to and should not be compartmentalized and separated from the rest of our life, because then it creates a separate thing that we have to leave our life to go do. My self-care doesn't fit into my life. I have to put my life down to go do my self-care. Well, then you're creating and cultivating a widening gap between self-care and the rest of your life. Yes, it's going to be hard to integrate those unless you figure out how to start weaving those together and using these in the moment, day to day. So, our mudra this week, my friends, is called the Padma Mudra. The Padma Mudra, also known as the Lotus Mudra, is done simply by bringing your base of your hands together in front of your heart. Connect your thumbs, the sides of your thumbs, and the sides of your pinkies, leaving the rest of this mudra open, facing upward like a flower or like a cup. You hold this here at your heart. The Padma Mudra, as soon as I do it, it's already soothing. Okay, so remember a couple of things when you are using your mudras. You want to use no more than the weight of a nickel on your connections. So we're not trying to fall into our mudra. Sometimes in meditation, we can kind of collapse into our mudra. So keep your mudra open with intention, no more than the weight of a nickel on these connections. This is energetic, right? Mudras work by redirecting the energy channels in the body. When you connect a circuit, electrical circuit, you don't need pressure. You don't need to force those pieces together. As soon as you make contact, the electrical current moves through. Keep that in mind. Hey, Mel, good morning, guys. I'm missing some of the comments here. I apologize if I've missed some of your stuff here. Hey, kind to you. Oh, I haven't been a shark lately, no. Okay. So our Padma Mudra works to calm the mind. It opens and balances the heart center. It strengthens the immune system. And sinks me into a place of quiet body and mind very quickly, apparently. All of the things that I was going to tell you about this mudra just like melted away in my head. So if you are not already holding your Padma Mudra, I highly suggest you go ahead and grab your Padma Mudra and place it here again, resting in front of your heart. So we do Bhakti Bites 3 times a week. And our first day, our Monday practice, is always a very, very simple practice just to be with, to sit with the mudra. So it is recommended that we sit with mudras for a minimum of 5 minutes. It takes about 5 minutes for that electrical current to kind of cycle through and the mudra to start really doing its work. So if you can find yourself a comfortable seated position, you don't even have to be seated for this mudra. You could be walking. You could be chatting with somebody. Hell, you could totally just hold this mudra while you're talking to a friend, right? Whatever you're doing, as long as you have both hands available to you and you can hold the Padma Mudra, then I invite you to take 5 minutes with me. Oh, I don't have my meditation music on in the background. That's usually my timer. Okay. Oh, I don't have it at all. Well, we'll go without this morning. Okay. If you've got 5 minutes, we will go ahead and close our eyes if it's available to you. If it's not available to you, don't worry about it. You can still keep your eyes open. And let's begin our practice by taking 3 deep breaths to fully arrive. Begin by inhaling through the nose, pulling the breath through the lungs and down into the belly. And sigh it out. Inhale again, lifting the heart and elongating the spine. And let it go. Inhale once more, expanding the rib cage in all directions, front, sides, and back. Hold to the top. And release. Go ahead and seal the lips and follow the breath just for a few rounds, inhaling all the way to the top, exhaling all the way to the bottom. Remember that the most important part of meditation is your intention and your attention. Meditation is as simple as that. Our intention for this practice is to simply sit with or experience this mudra, the Padma Mudra. And we bring our attention back to that practice again and again. You can use various things as an anchor for your attention. You can choose to use the breath. Simply resting your awareness on the inhale and the exhale helps to anchor your attention into the present moment, into the practice. And when you find that your mind runs off with itself, once you notice, you simply bring your awareness back to your anchor, whether it be the breath, whether it be the mudra, whether it be the tip of your nose, whether it be the tip of your big toe. It does not particularly matter what anchor you use for your meditation. I invite you to restate your intention to yourself here, quietly or out loud, to simply be with this mudra. And then we bring our attention back to this practice again and again, without shame, blame, guilt, judgment. If anything, with playfulness, with compassion, with love, with gentleness. We notice our mind monkeys pulling our attention away. We bring them back. Yes, sometimes it's like herding cats. But we are patient and loving with ourselves as we learn to quiet the mind, as we cultivate the habit of quieting the mind and the body and the spirit. Remember, no more than the weight of a nickel connection for your mudra. Sometimes our mudras might float away as well. It is why I like to use the mudra itself as my anchor. I keep my awareness resting on the mudra. And when I notice it's starting to collapse or starting to float away, I come back to the original position, slight adjustments, back to the mudra. Slow, steady breaths. Letting this mudra gently lull the mind, gently soothe the muscles in the body. Inhaling your intention, exhaling any tension in the body, mind, and spirit. I really enjoy the feeling of this mudra, so if it's available to you, please do stay here as long as you would like. It's recommended to hold mudras for a minimum of 5. It's suggested 5 to 45 minutes. So if you've got 45 minutes, just bathe yourself in the energy of this heart-centered mudra. When you feel complete, I invite you to release the mudra and either bring your hands together in prayer or simply lay one over the other over your heart in gratitude for today's practice. In gratitude for these powerful tools that allow us to align and heal the body, the mind, the spirit, and to offer yourself a little gratitude for taking the time for self-care today. I'm so proud of you. You did it. You did it. 5 minutes of self-care. I bet you could fit another 5 minutes in later on, huh? When you're ready to come out of meditation, please do so slowly. Offer yourself some wiggles and some stretches. Ooh-wee. But yeah, stay in meditation as long as you possibly can. That's it. 5 minutes a day holding that mudra is going to have a positive healing effect on all layers of self. L, you want my haircut? Well, go get it. It's not mine. It doesn't belong to me. All you need is just, a razor to the side of the head. And then it's yours. Hey, Corey, good morning. Thank you guys for the follows. So, on Wednesday, we will go a little bit deeper into our meditation. Remember that these are our Bhakti Bites classes. Bhakti means devotion. So devotion to what? Devotion to self-care. Because self-care is oftentimes the last thing on our to-do list and the first thing that we drop when we get too busy. When really it should be the foundation for how we approach life itself. We need to be able to weave our self-care in such that it's accessible in those moments when we really need it. Because thank you, Allie, what happens in those moments where if I spend my time self-care, so my self-care only happens at 8 o'clock each evening. I go and do an hour of yoga, right? This is my self-care, and that's all I have for it. Well, what happens at noon or at 11 o'clock in the morning when I have an emotional trigger be stabbed, right, by some random situation, and I need the tools in that moment to take care of myself, in that moment to deal with my big emotions that just came up? Am I going to shove them down, put them in a box, and put them in my put them in my liver, right, until 8 o'clock tonight, and then try to unpack what I just stuck in my liver? Yeah, I could. That's what I've done for a long time, and that's what a lot of us do. But by the time, even those couple of hours between the moment it happened and the storing it away and holding it here for so long during the day, just those couple of hours, it's gonna leave residue. It's gonna get stuck. Hey, Claybeard. When we compartmentalize our experiences for later processing, yes, sometimes it's imperative that we do so. Sometimes we have to, but we don't always have to. And if we have the tools to process things in a manageable way, then we don't have to at all. Because when we store these things, they leave residue. And then we go, gosh, why do I have that ache in this shoulder, this chronic ache in this shoulder? I just can't seem to let it go. But this is where I put my frustration every time I get worried about something and this shoulder pops up to try to protect me, right? To try to hold that extra weight. This is a trigger response. This is an emotional response. This is a response, a reaction, a programmed reaction, programmed simply by my previous experiences for the purpose of keeping me safe. This is not a terrible thing. This is a good thing that my body and my mind and my spirit are doing, my energy are doing to try to protect me. But the reality is, this fucks up my muscles and my collarbone and my thoracic outlet. If I keep doing this all day long, I'm going to cause myself chronic pain, chronic issues. I personally deal with said chronic issues because this is exactly what I did all the time. Instead of being able to use things like mudras, mantras, mindfulness tools to be able to deal with those things, ooh, I felt that come up. Hold on. Where is that? What is that? Oh, that was a fear. There's a little bit of anxiety. I'm worried I won't be able to protect myself. Really? We're just going in the grocery store. I know, but do you remember that one time, like 20 years ago, when this thing happened in the grocery store and it made you feel really uncomfortable? Yeah, I do. That's not now, though. Well, what if it happens again? How about this? I'll keep you safe, okay? And if it does happen again, we'll just walk right out of there. Okay, sounds good. I know that sounded really silly, but these are the kinds of conversations that mindfulness allows me to have with myself when a trigger gets hit. Instead of storing it away and letting it fester, letting it accumulate in these different parts of my physical body, because the body remembers, the body holds these things. Instead, I use my mudras. And before I go into that grocery store, I sit with my Padma Mudra and I imagine divine light pouring into the chalice at my heart, filling my heart. And as that washes over me, washes through me, I can feel the tension leaving my muscles. I can feel my shoulder blades slowly melting down my back, because holding it for 5 seconds is not the same as giving myself 5 whole minutes to just pause, be with myself before moving forward. We so often misconceive ourselves as human doings, and we forget to give ourselves the moment of being beings in between the doings. How imperative the moments of being really, really are. It is in those moments of being that self-care is available to you. Self-healing is available to you. Self-love is abundantly available to you when you take those moments of being between the doing to check in with self. We all talk to ourselves that way. Yes, and sometimes we talk to ourselves far worse. Sometimes we have some really terrible conversations with ourselves. I've been there. I've been sitting in the car, ready to go in the grocery store, and I had anxiety well up, and I go, God damn it, again, really? I can't even just go in the grocery store without some bullshit happening in my belly. I'm so broken. I'm so wrong. I'm so blah, 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 blah. I can't function as a human. Blah, 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 blah. Right? We also have those conversations with ourselves. But it's those conversations that are telling us, go do something with yourself. Go do something different. Go be something different. Those are the conversations with ourselves that push ourselves aside, that push those feelings, that compartmentalize them. When I was a little girl, I lived in a household that you weren't allowed to be too anything. Not too loud. You couldn't yell, you couldn't scream, obviously. I said obviously because it was that intense. Wow. You couldn't scream. You couldn't even laugh too hard. You couldn't cry too hard. You couldn't be too anything. So I remember picking up this habit where I would put my emotions, I would put whatever I was feeling into a child's block. I would imagine a child's block in my head. And if I had a fear, if I had an anger, if I had sadness, whatever it was, even laughter that was too big and that was going to get me in trouble, I would close my eyes and I would put it in a block. And I'd close that block up. It even had like the ABCs and the teddy bears on it, right? I would close that block up and I would stack it right here. The strangest thing. Again, I didn't think about this until years later, but I used to do this every single time I'd have too big emotion. I would stack it. And I remember that eventually, as I would do this regularly, I started to notice that the more I stacked, the more wobbly that got. And I remember a moment. I must have been like 13, maybe 12. No, more like 10 to 12 or something. I'd been stacking a lot lately. We'd had a really hard week, right? So I had a lot of these blocks stacked up. And my little brother, 4 years younger than me, apple of my heart, comes in my room and asks me if I want to play G.I. Joes or Cars with him or something like that. But he didn't knock on my door when he came in. He just opened the door and walked in, like a brother does. And I flew off the handle. I remember the feeling of overwhelming rage well up in my belly. And I remember as it lifted, as it raised from my gut, I remember seeing those blocks tumble and hit the ground. And it was one of the many moments in my life that I'm so grateful for, that I paused in the middle of that rage welling up and went, whoa, whoa. All of that stuff that I've been stacking inside of me, that made that wave so huge. I recognized it at 10 to 12, that was totally disproportionate, totally inappropriate for the fact that he just came in and asked me if I wanted to play. And I saw so clearly that it was because I had been stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking. I later tattooed those blocks on the inside of my arm to remind myself that this is not what we do. That if we compartmentalize it, if we stack it, if we store it away within our body or our hearts or our minds, it remains until we release it. You cannot ignore what comes up within you, what arises within you, because if you do, it will rise again and again and again and again and again. Just like we look at our lives and we see these patterns in our lives and we go, why does life keep attacking me? Why does this shit always happen to me? There is Never a problem without a gift in it for you. There is never a problem without a gift for you in it. So when life brings you problems, find the gift. When life brings you challenges, see the opportunity for growth. When life comes at you sideways, look for what it's trying to highlight for you, what it's trying to point out to you. Life is not out to get you. Your body is not attacking you. Your mind is not trying to hurt you. Your mind is not against you. And I know it can feel that way when we have these obsessive thoughts, when we have physical aches and pains that the doctors and nobody else can explain for us. I know it's hard when life seems to be throwing curveballs at you left and right, and punches, jabs, right? You feel like you're in a boxing ring. Life does that when we're not paying attention to what's important. Life will continue to bring the important things to our attention that we need to see, that we need to know, over and over and over and over and over again. If we remain unaware and just reactionary to life, then we are merely, like a buoy in the storm. There's another word. There's some other, without the practices of centering our awareness, being in the present moment with ourselves, listening to the inner voices and subtle goings-ons within our bodies, within our minds. My cats are chasing each other. When we are unaware, we are being pushed and pulled by life. We are letting life take us wherever life takes us, and oftentimes fighting against the current the whole time, being tossed around. The purpose of mindfulness is to put ourselves squarely in the seat of our awareness. Because when I am aware in the present moment and I feel that feeling come up, I can see it as it rises. When we're not aware, it suddenly comes out of nowhere and blindsides us, right? Well, that's because I wasn't in the present moment, not because I was being attacked. It's because something's been screaming for my attention over here, and I've been ignoring it. But awareness is like layers, and we must peel them away bit by bit by bit. Yes, some of us do get like cracked open like a nut. And awareness just suddenly goes, oh! The rest of us, and then sometimes it just goes smash right back down, right? That's why we like certain medicines, right, that open us up so our awareness can just scream with the angels, hello, I see everything. And then it smashes back down and we go, how do I get back there? And a lot of times we chase these medicines that do this for us. But reality is this is just a window. Those medicines are just the windows into the nature of reality, but not the doorway into the nature of reality. The doorway involves your body as well. It involves integrating the wisdoms that we receive by looking through these windows so that we can then walk through the door, because the door is not actually a door, it's a fucking wall. And until you can learn to bend quantum time and space, you will not be able to walk through that wall. You will not be able to bend time and space on a quantum level unless you have the awareness of that quantum level. You're not going to be able to experience that quantum level unless you shut for like 5 minutes and just listen. We are so busy. We so often miss reality. We are so often in our future or in our past or in our state of worry or our imagination, right? Totally making up entirely other realities over here, completely missing what's actually happening right here, right now. And when I am missing what's happening right here, right now, that is where most of experience, most of reality really is right here, right now. Yes? Yes. So what am I doing when I am worrying about my future? Oh, I'm planning ahead. Oh, I'm keeping myself safe by imagining all the different possibilities of things that could go wrong. All the while, reality is just walking by, walking by, walking by, walking by, just passing us by, constantly passing us by. I like those leaders, spiritual teachers who will say things like, the present is now, and now, and now, and now, right? These moments of and now, and now. And I feel like that is what we do when we pull our attention away. Instead of saying now, and now, and now, it's gone, and then gone, and then gone, and then gone. This whole time that I've been up here thinking about yesterday or 20 minutes from now or 5 years ago. And we even program our state of being by where we rest our thoughts. If I am resting my thoughts on my potential worries about the future, then when something small, a small hiccup happens in my real world in the moment, oftentimes my reaction is disproportionate because this little thing that just happened is now connected to the big thing that I was worrying about. Constant state of flux. That's just it. I hear so many people say, I can't meditate. I can't do mindfulness. I suck at it, right? It doesn't work for me. A lot of times it's because there's a belief that there is a destination for meditation, that there is a perfect type of meditation, or that meditation itself is some sort of static place that you arrive at and then don't leave until you're done with your meditation. It's completely not the case. In rare occasions, sure, you can absolutely find that little place of homeostasis, static, non-moving, but it does not last. Why? Because nothing in reality is static. Because reality is a constant flow, a constant ebb and flow, a rise and fall, and in and out, a birth and death, a constant meditation, mindfulness, is learning to flow with not learning to be rigid and static, but learning to be flexible and fluid. Life is doing this all around you. If you try to do this, you're going to struggle. It's not going to last forever. So stop reaching for perfection. Stop expecting perfection. Meditation is a process. It is not about perfection. The process itself is the perfection. It is the showing up for yourself every day. The most important parts of mindfulness are your intention and your attention. You can turn just about anything into a mindfulness practice. Thank you guys for the follows. You can turn anything into a mindfulness practice if you bring your intention and your attention to that practice. For those of you who go to the gym and work out, tell me that when you're lifting weights and you give it your entire focus and you set your intention and focus your attention on that intention, do you not find yourself in flow? Do you not have a different experience? Do you not find yourself just hearing only your breath? I don't lift weights. Do you not find yourself there? Yes? When you are artists, my artists, when you are coloring to paper, right? Red on that paper, brush and paint. And you give it all of your attention. And you set your intention to do the thing, right? To paint this thing or to express whatever it is. And you give that all of your intention. Suddenly, you look at the clock and it's been 6 hours. Holy moly, how did I waste that much time doing this? Waste. How did I spend so much time doing this? You were in flow. That is mindfulness. That is altering your experience of the here and now. Exactly. It's not waste. Time and space are relative. Your experience of time and space are relative. I have control over my experience of time and space. In fact, it is entirely up to me what my experience of this time and space is, based on my beliefs, my perception, my judgments, my biases, my expectations, my fears. I shape my perspective, either unintentionally and unconsciously, or intentionally and consciously. The choice is up to you. Kittens. 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 But remember that this is like riding a bike, okay? And maybe some of you jumped on the bike and you're like, woo, I got it. And maybe some of you will jump into meditation and you'll go, woo, I got it. But the rest of us, meditation can be a little bit shaky at first, a little bit weird and awkward. Offer yourself some grace. The most important part is simply your intention and your attention. Start simple. Find places in your life that you already know how to slip into that flow of focusing your attention on your intention. Add some breath in there. In fact, use the breath. My favorite way to meditate is to simply rest my awareness on the breath and nothing more. And my quality of experience changes. My experience of time changes, and my quality of that experience changes. Do this often enough, and you start to experience some of those yogi superpowers. I get to see psychedelic colors when I practice mindfulness. Totally sober. The most powerful thing you have is where you place your attention. Be mindful of where you place your attention, whether it be on a video game or a conversation with a friend, whether it be on your worries or your dreams, whether it be on what happened 5 years ago or what's happening right here, right now, in the moment. Where you rest your attention will change your quality of experience. And yes, energy flows where attention goes. What you water grows, right? Even this concept, I think about how, well, I spend my time worrying about what might happen if I do this or do that, right? Isn't that me planning for my future? Isn't that me making sure that I'm protected and safe? Yes, to some degree, sure, we have to pay attention to the risk, right? Weigh the pros and cons of any situation. But you do this and then you release it. Some of us, like myself, tend to spend a lot of mental time on worry. And I have explained it away to myself as if I am protecting myself. I'm planning ahead. I'm making sure that we stay safe with this excessive focus on what might potentially go wrong. I've been doing this as a child, since I was a child. I used to lay in bed at night and imagine if somebody broke in the house, all the things that I would possibly do. This is something my brain has been doing for me for a very long time to try to keep me safe. There's a term for it, actually. It's a hyper something or other. Turns out that causes a great deal of stress and pain. That causes suffering. Because the mind is also self-affirming. It wants to prove itself right. So if I believe that there are all these potential dangers all around me, what is my mind going to do but look for those potential dangers? Thank you guys for the follow. Ooh, Andrea, brushing my dog is my favorite thing to do while practicing mindfulness. Yes, anything like this. Our animals can help a lot with that too. These are mindfulness practices. Anything that brings you into the present moment. Another one of my favorites, if I am having, I live with PTSD. I don't call it mine because it does not belong to me. It is a visitor. It is a family member that lives inside of my house here, right? That lives with me. So it's not mine. It doesn't belong to me. But PTSD and I have to deal with some things sometimes, have some discussions so we can go do normal human things. One of my favorite things to do when PTSD shows up at my door or up here behind my ear and goes, oh my God, everything is going to go horribly wrong. If you go into that grocery store, absolutely everything that we fear is going to happen. The entire world's going to end. Everything's going to be completely wrong. Don't do it. Don't even think about it. And then my body reacts with the anxiety that comes up. I start to sweat. My shoulders start to creep up into my ears. My pelvic floor starts to tense. My toes start to curl. And right, all of these different ways that are physically trying to protect ourselves in the middle of our own internal experience. One of my favorite things to do is to invite my PTSD to find the colors of the rainbow. Look around. Where's red? Hey, PTSD, where's red? Where's red? And I look around and I find all the colors that are red, all the things that are red around me. Hey, PTSD, where's orange? Orange, orange, orange. Yellow, PTSD, where's yellow? Ooh, there's some yellow. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And before you know it, that ominous PTSD in my ear has become a playful friend looking for colors with me. And then I get to invite PTSD and I say, hey, do you want to go look for colors in the grocery store? Yeah? Cool. Let's go do it. And if in the grocery store PTSD goes, oh, wait, we're in the store and everybody can see us. They can just walk right up and talk to us. We go, hey, PTSD, where's red? Red? Do you see red? Orange, orange. Yellow? Yellow. Green? Good. Green. Yellow? No, wait, we already did yellow. Green? Blue. Blue? Hey, do you hear that song on the radio? We love that song. You want to do a little dance in the grocery store? Yes, I dance with my PTSD in the grocery store aisles. Why? Because that's what I would do for a friend of mine. If I had a friend sitting beside me in the car, standing beside me in the grocery store, who was afraid, who was having a panic attack, what would I do with them but offer them love, compassion, offer them playfulness, offer them light-hearted space. I would encourage them to release their attachment to suffering, attachment to fear, and just be in the present moment. So, when that happens within me, I treat myself like the friend. I am the friend that I needed in that moment. Andrea, she's also great at, yeah, it's time for mindfulness time. Mine's really good at it too. He'll come and sit when it's time for mindfulness. When you make a regular habit out of it, life actually even starts supporting you in doing that. It becomes an anchor unto itself. The reason we encourage daily mindfulness practice, yes, I like Eckhart Tolle as well. There are a lot of really beautiful, wise voices that we can listen to out there. I highly recommend finding those wise voices to listen to. If you are new to this path of coming home to yourself, if you are well seasoned on this path to coming home to yourself, it is always beneficial to receive the perspective of others who are doing this work as well. We each bring our own unique perspective. We each bring our own unique gifts. We have our own unique insights. And when we respect each other, honor each other for those insights as unique and valuable unto themselves, then we give ourselves the opportunity to see reality, to see our perspective, to see more than just our perspective. You're right, Dream Baby. We don't offer ourselves enough love, which is why I get on the megaphone and scream, mindfulness, 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 mindfulness. Because one of the simplest ways that we can show ourselves love is just to be present with ourselves. How many times do we say that about loved ones, our children, our partners, our friends? I just want to spend time with you, dude. I just want to hang out. Like, I miss you. How often do we give that to ourselves? Hey, dude, I miss you. I miss hanging out with you. I miss going on walks with you. I miss eating flowers out in the woods. Yeah, I miss you too. So weave mindfulness into every day. And then stretch that mindfulness out into every moment. And through that mindfulness, weave every breath, every heartbeat, until mindfulness is the very fabric of reality. This is a lot like a spiritual practitioner, right? Who talks about spirit being in everything. Devotion, bhakti yoga, devotional yoga is the idea, is the belief, is the practice in being present with divinity in every single moment. who you are, who you really are, is that divinity. Sorry, there's side conversations happening in my head about how, if you knew, we struggle to give ourselves self-love. We struggle to love ourselves. We struggle sometimes to give ourselves compassion and love and kindness and patience, right? We are our own worst critics. But some while ago, I heard it asked in my moment of mindfulness, in my heart, that little, yes, it's sometimes like a who voice, right? Popped up and just goes, what if you knew that within you was a little tiny spark of divinity? Was this little God particle? And it's up to you to keep it safe. It's this adorable little, vulnerable, fragile, powerful little spark. And it's conscious. It can see what's happening, it can hear what's happening, it can feel what's happening. It's your job to keep it safe. Your whole life, you got to keep this safe, okay? Here you go. If you knew that little tiny spark of divinity was living here, how would you speak to yourself when your heart started to race? How would you speak to yourself when your belly started to churn? How would you speak to yourself when that little voice of fear came up? When that little voice of doubt came up? Would you be harsh and cruel if you knew that God was listening right here? Not some faraway place that we got to go through a middleman just to speak to the guy. No. Right here. God is right here. Source is right here. The entirety of infinity, of the entire, all of creation is right here, as well as all out there, but also right here too. How would you speak to yourself? How would you take care of yourself? If you knew this was a temple to house divinity, would you not bathe it in rose petals and milk and honey? Would you not wash its feet? Would you not speak softly? Would you not be patient? Imagine that you can shift it and say it's the tiny Buddha, right? The next Buddha, right here. But it's just a baby one. So it's got all its baby feelings and baby worries and baby fears. Are you going to chide it for being childlike because it's the Buddha incarnate, because it's divinity? It is my experience that divinity is actually very childlike and will always be. Because if you look at a child, tell me you do not see the purest expression of divinity, of the power of the universe when you look at a toddler who just realized that they can affect the world, who demands your attention, demands that their need be met now. I have a need, meet it now. Time does not exist for me. Time does not control me. I stop time. Do our children not? Do those 2-year-olds not have actual control over time and reality? Yes, they fucking do, and they know it. It is only until we push that out of them, that confidence, that. So, I invite you to keep that in mind. That in here is that little spark of divinity, that little God particle, always with you, always listening. And when that voice in your head goes to chide you, or to say nasty things to you, or to tear you down, take a moment and ask yourself, is that how you would speak to God? Is that how you would speak to the Buddha? Is that how you would speak to a teacher, a guru? Is that how you would speak to Mother Earth? Do you speak to me like you speak to God? The love and understanding between the Father and the Son. If you believe in the perfectness of where we are. Yes. Okay. Yes. Dog says it's after 11 o'clock. Thank you, Jody. So, for those of you who are members in the CAYA Sangha, that's the Sangha supporter level and above. We have our deep dive practice session happening on Zoom at 1 o'clock today, 1 o'clock Pacific time. If you would like to join the CAYA Sangha, you can do so at whatever level works for you. Make sure you read what's included in each level so you can know what you're getting and get what you want. If you have any questions about that, you can send me a message on any of the platforms. You can leave comments on any of the platforms. The link in my bio, the Patreon link in my bio, will get you to all of those membership tiers. It will also get you the free link to our Discord CAYA Courtyard. The CAYA Courtyard, CAYA, CAYA, stands for Come As You Are, because your authenticity is the purest expression of your divinity. Yes, I am on Twitter. I am on most of the platforms. The only place I really interact is over on the Discord. I need to get off the social media platforms because they are intentionally hiding my content. It turns out that these mindfulness tools that I am sharing and teaching you guys are so nefarious that they would rather hide them than for me to give you these tools. I have been fighting with, specifically lately, TikTok as a platform. Facebook has also hidden my stuff. Instagram and Twitter have also done it in the past as well. So I don't push a lot of stuff out on those content. Oh, I put stuff there. So if you're following me, you can follow me there. A lot of times they take it down. They take it down, or they hide it, or they tell me that it's not appropriate, or it bans somebody's something. See, right now they're telling me to verify to continue. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, is she sharing how these self-healing things, is she sharing the magic and tools that allow you to be your own guru? Because I'm not your fucking guru. Neither is anybody else out there. Guru means that which brings you from darkness to light, and you are the one that does that. I don't care how many teachers you have. I don't care how much you receive from outside of yourself in terms of knowledge, in terms of information. You are the one who has to integrate that information, put it in, weave it through you, and turn it into understanding. Only you can do that through personal responsibility, through focused awareness, through consistent practice, and even inconsistent practice, through showing up for yourself in each moment with love, patience, compassion. If you want to learn how to do these things, if you want to learn more of these tools, these mudras, I practice energy work, I practice mudras, I teach mudras, energy work. We have the CAYA practice session, the Sangha sessions class that we are having at 1 o'clock Pacific time today is our deep dive practice session. If you want to ask questions about anything mindfulness, from mudras to tantra to breath work to energy healing and everything in between and a bunch of other stuff, we do that in the Sangha sessions. So if you'd like to join the Sangha sessions, you have to be a member of the CAYA Sangha at the Sangha supporters level or above. Again, all of the information is written per tier on my Patreon page. My Patreon page, the link is in my bio, but it's Patreon at Move With Change. You can also go directly to the Discord and you can sign up there. There's a link in the Patreon to go to the Discord for free. If you'd like to sign up through the Discord, you can also go to our bit.ly CAYA Tribe link. If you have any questions about any of that stuff, feel free to send me a message. Best place to go is to the Patreon to find all the links for all the things. Once you get into the Discord, we have a free public space, but there's only so much you'll be able to access in that free public space. If you want to get into the private classes, the group classes, the group coaching, and special events and things like that, you'll need to be at a membership level. But I've offered you guys a bunch of membership levels so you can get what you want without having to break the bank. I'm trying to make sure that this is sustainable for folks who want to get in on specific things, and you can change your membership level in case 1 month you want more and the next month you want less. It totally works that way. So I love you guys very much. CAYA Sangha supporters and above, I will see you guys at 1 o'clock Pacific time for our mindfulness class. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you on the Discord. Please go follow me at Move With Change on YouTube. I'm also live on Kick and Twitch. I'm regularly live on all those places. All of the replays for my classes, all of my replays are on YouTube, so you definitely want to follow the YouTube channel at Move With Change on YouTube. Okay, guys. I love you so much. Oh, I gotta ask.